Good evening, everybody. It's Wednesday evening, 8 o'clock, and I'm really pleased to be here with you for the third session in this live Facebook series, Let's Talk of Normal. So we're on R now of the normal. N was for name that feeling. O was for observe that feeling, and we started looking at a chart and how to record your feelings, and why it's important to start rating those feelings and understanding the behaviour that comes from those feelings. So today is R for realistic perception. Now, this is going to be about realistic perception of yourself, but also compared to other people. So as we go through life, we grow up, we develop, we move on, our roles and responsibilities change. And hi, Anne, lovely to see you here. Hi, Sean, lovely to see you as well. And I know this all sounds pretty obvious at the moment, but unfortunately we compare ourselves to other people, and we do this from a very, very early age. We compare ourselves to our friends, to our work colleagues. I know that when I was growing up, it was always my friends were prettier than me or cleverer than me, or they were better at sport or better friends, or they were more generous, and all of these different sorts of things. And we probably mask it a little bit better as we get older. But the thing is, this gives us a false impression of ourselves. And so this is why it's really important to start thinking about how you feel about yourself, which is what we've been looking at. But is it an accurate perception of yourself? And also to really think about how you perceive other people and how they perceive you, because a lot of the time we think we know what people think about us, but actually we don't, because how do we know what's going on inside of other people's heads? And the behaviour that they show towards you might not be to do with what you think it is. It might be to do with their own perception of themselves, comparing themselves to you. I hope you get all that, because it sounded a little bit complicated. Okay, and this is why relationships are so complicated, aren't they? Especially with people who you first meet. Now, I meet a lot of new people and I do a lot of networking, just like everybody does, but in different ways, with our work. But it's really interesting to talk with other people and say, well, I seem to get on quite well with that person. And then someone goes, well, I didn't. I thought they were a bit this, that, and the other. And so it just goes to show that it's, our personalities, the way we behave, the way we put ourselves over to other people makes life complicated, doesn't it? Okay, so the realistic perception bit about yourself, about comparing yourself to other people, we actually give ourselves a really hard time over it, and it can have a huge effect on our confidence levels and our self-worth. And so that's why it's really, really important to look at it in a sort of in a realistic way and step back from it a little bit, because if you think you haven't been a good friend to somebody or a good partner to somebody, it's about stepping back and thinking, well, what proof do I have of that? Okay, or if somebody says to you, if you've had a row with somebody, if somebody says, oh, you've let me down, or you didn't work as hard as I thought you would do, is that the truth? Hi, Stephen, lovely to see you. Is that the real truth, or is it that they are finding it difficult to say what they actually really feel about what is going on here? Because It's just like I gave the scenario last week about the consequences of our feelings and emotions, that it isn't until you really get to grips with them and you get the little bit of light bulb moment to say, that's why I feel the way I feel, because that is the trigger. Do you know to do something about it? And so recognizing something, acknowledging something, is the first step in moving towards really being able to tackle your feelings, your thoughts, your perception of yourself. Because at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is to be happier about ourselves so that we can be more content, so that we can think and feel and behave the way we really want to do that, so that we get the result, the successful result, so that we can take the next steps forwards to living our life efficiently and successfully. And when I mean efficiently and successfully, it isn't just around financial or materialistic things. It's about all of our lives, which is to do with our relationships with our parents, our friends, our partners, our children, because success comes in a whole different ballgame. But unfortunately, when we are in the doldrums of our change curve, we can look at this in two different ways. When we're in the doldrums of our change curve, or we're on that pinnacle of toppling off the edge, feeling as if we're going to lose control any minute, it's difficult, really, really difficult to perceive ourselves accurately and realistically, because we're so caught up in this cycle of us being the victim, that we become, not purposefully, but we become the center of our own attention, the center of our own focus, and we forget to be looking at the bigger picture. And so it's about going back to that bit about remembering to step away from the situation so that we can look into it and start looking at it with fresh eyes. And it's rather like if you say you are in your local city centre. So I was in Birmingham city centre at the weekend, and everybody's walking along, looking at, what's on the ground or immediately in front of you. But it isn't until you actually look up and see things differently that you actually see the beauty of the old buildings. You can see, great architecture, great brickwork, great, leaded windows, and the relationship between the buildings and the sky and the space, all of these different things that make us understand the bigger picture properly. And maybe one of the things that, if you are struggling to really connect with your perception, is set yourself up a little exercise to do, and perhaps ask several people what your strengths are, what you're good at, what they like about you. I mean, at first, play safe. Ask the people who will give you an honest answer, but be very kind about it if you're a little bit concerned, who have good empathy for you and with you, and just start to see what they say. And then when you get a little bit more confident, go and ask somebody who you don't know so well. And in actual fact, you'll be surprised at what people say, especially if you sort of stretch it a little bit and go and see somebody that perhaps you feel you don't get on so well with, say at work, or in the family, because you might actually find out something quite surprising, that actually, even though you felt that you didn't get on with those people very well, that they have a lot of positive information to give you about you. And that will then extend your relationship with that person, and then extend that relationship with yourself, because that's what we're trying to do here. It's about trying to build up a better relationship with yourself so that you can be a better person to yourself. Because if you think about it, if you treated your best friend the way we treat ourselves sometimes, because let's face it, we can be very hard on ourselves and beat ourselves up about things that haven't gone so well. And if we treated our best friend like that, how long would they be a best friend for? Probably not very long, you know. And so this is what we have to do. Just as we nurture our friendships with other people, we have to nurture our friendship with ourselves. Because then if we have a better friendship with ourselves, if we understand ourselves better, if we love ourselves, and that's not in a, a vain way, if we love ourselves better, then we're going to give out a lot more positive vibes and be able to support and help other people a lot better. I know that when I've been in my doldrums sometimes, and I've gone to my mum, and she said to me, Kath, if you don't look after yourself, how are you going to look after all the other people that are important in your lives? And she's always been right. And I think she's had to learn that about herself, and she's passed that along to me. And wouldn't it be great to pass something along to the people that you love, or people that you come across who just needs a little bit of extra something? Because we all do jobs that give great value to other people, and we want to keep giving that value to other people so that we can help them, support them in all different ways that we might not ever find out that we've been supporting them and helping them. So what I want you to do is to have a little think about your real perception of yourself, and perhaps do that little exercise, is ask some other people for 3 things that they admire you for, because I think you'll be really surprised. So on that note, because I like to keep these short and sweet because we're all busy, what I am offering out is a 20-minute free phone consultation to help you start moving forwards through finding your happiness, your contentment, your feeling of normal, so that you can really connect with it. If you would like to do that, then drop me a personal message and I'll get back to you, and we can start making some arrangements. Now, next week we're going to be on the 4th section of this series, M for motivation. Now, I know that the other week I was away in the Highlands of Scotland and live didn't work, and uploading a little video didn't work. Now, next week I'm not going to be able to make it live because it's my daughter's graduation. But thankfully, I'm not going to be in the darkest depths of Scotland. I'm going to be in Liverpool. So I will be able to do a little video. But at 8 o'clock, we will be out celebrating. So I'm going to do a little video and I'll post it up as nearer to 8 o'clock as I can. But if you've got any questions or any feedback, or you just want to have a chat, then please leave me a comment and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And thank you so much for joining me. And I will be with you next week in video format at 8 o'clock for Let's Talk M for Motivation. Have a great evening and thanks for joining me. Bye bye.